Alright, I think we're alive. Let's get to it. I need to put my glasses back on. Hey, micro repairs. So we've got a dreaded A1990 that needs its data. I'm just sincerely hoping that we don't have coffee over the SSD VREGs, because if we do, then it's pretty much going to be a literal open shut case situation. So fingers crossed it is not that which we find. I'm not even going to put power into it because I don't want to risk doing more damage. Jim, Daniel, Barry, Ilah, Travis, Electro Rep, B-Blood, Marcel. Looks like a few people who were on the Lewis Rossman One Will stream. Yeah. Okay, well, the initial good news is that area is not damaged, so we've gone from 5% chance of success to maybe 10% chance of success. Okay, so that's hopeful. I can see where the copies come in. If we're really lucky, this may be more of a situation of, maybe the keyboard or the touchpad or something like that is holding the system down. But we'll take it all out, give it a good inspection. This is a data recovery situation. The machine itself is not what's important. I mean, obviously it'd be nice, but the priority is the data. Hey Jason, how's it going? Well, I sincerely hope my stream does not fail as well. I haven't had a chance to catch up with that main board that we stopped on last night. If this one goes okay, then I may walk back to that board we were working on last night. I've just been spending the evening redoing my workshop. I took that trolley, that metal trolley that I had, I took that out. I basically found it consumes too much room in the workshop. It's nice to have it, but in the end, I just kept putting clutter on it, so it failed to adequately, hey, we're missing a screw here. It failed to adequately perform a task other than just collecting crap. Hey, Jim Allen. Hey, Marcel. Alright. So, of course, being a typical... Which board have we got here? We've got a 1814? Yeah, 1814 board. It's not the... Cheers. Well, yep, the insults are coming thick and fast already. Hey, Sodomizer. Oh, and look, Creature's here. Hey, Creature. Geez, I barely hear from you for 15 years and now you're just in every stream. It takes a bit of getting used to. That's right, Daniel. It's very hard to not have crap just pile up in... If you've got random space, then somehow or another you end up piling crap into it. I think it's... While I do have a chaotic bench nature, I think it's also symptomatic of not having enough space. Because if you have enough space, then you tend to put everything in its own spot, and it doesn't have to compete with anything else for that location. Well, I think that's the ideal way to go. Well, it's good to have you here anyway, Creature. I don't know why ND can't get on here. It's okay. I have already done micro prior to starting this stream. It was close enough to 10:30 that I was able to do it. Creature, you still got that micro lathe that you bought all those years ago? Still use it? Uh, Creature was telling me that your new lounge looks good from. Yeah, shouldn't be joking about that sort of thing. Fortunately, I know where Creature lives, and I know that he has not made that trick. You used it once since you moved 3 years ago. Wow. Still, it's one of those sort of tools that when you need it, you need it. You know, it's not like you can readily substitute the functionality that it provides, unless of course you have one at work. I'm just trying to see if I've forgotten anything in particular. No, okay, I think the board's ready to come out. Oh, always forget the adhesive strips there. What else? We're good. Let's take these off because they do tend to just get snagged up on whatever I'm working on. And anyway, without the trolley here, I'm reverting back naturally to putting everything on the ground, sort of. I've got a little wooden platform, but not much more than that. Okay, so the Wi-Fi's got coffee on it. We've had coffee run through. Oh, good God, no. How bad a luck can you get? The coffee has hit that one over there. Oh, jeez. I'm thinking that's the 3v3 though. That might be the 3v3 generator and not one of the NAND ones. Hey, Mad. You're welcome. Hey, Warren Stamps. Okay. Gotta find a better place to put my glasses sometimes. What have we got? Yeah. I mean, really, what are the chances? God damn it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, 1814 board. Let's go have a look which one that is. I have a horrible feeling that is actually a NAND regulator. In which case, there's probably not a lot we can do. Yep, TV5 NAND. Damn it. Alright, well, we will, we'll replace it, we'll try. We might get lucky, but statistically very unlikely in this instance. But we'll see. Of all the places for the coffee to go, it had to go there. Hey, Wayne Taylor. Since we know it's coffee and we know where the damage is, I'm just washing it away. Mostly because when I start reworking this, I don't want to be fighting with coffee. Because, it's got the milk, it's got the sugar, so you got the double whammy of a, you're going to start generating toffee, carbonizing the toffee, and you're going to start cooking the proteins out of the milk. It should not be pretty. Okay, current sense resistor is going to be botched too, probably. That cap looks pretty dubious. That's a chunk of coffee. Hey, Dodamras. Murphy never sleeps. You're damn right about that. See, unfortunately, what a lot of people do, unfortunately it hasn't happened in this instance, but what some shops do is they just wash this and go, there you go, all done. And then they turn it back on, and it genuinely takes away any possibility of a recovery. Okay, let's get some proper Amtech. I will be honest, see the other problem is, see how it's corroded on one side? That's generally an indication that it ran for sufficient... Oh yeah, that noise is not good. Yeah, it's gone all the way through it. That's a really sad situation. I mean, I'm genuinely hoping that we will have a chance of getting it back, but the chances are very low. There's basically no over voltage protection whatsoever. I'm just gonna go get a bundle of buds. Oops, that wasn't planned. Alright, we're going to run some hot air wick on that. I'm a little bit disorganized right now because I took that trolley away. I will get to replacing the stuff that it was holding one way or another, but for now it's a bit of a mess. Hey Wayne, yes, it did. Yes, that turned up this morning. You're talking about the station? Ah. Clearly that was unintentional, taking that cap off. Hey Christopher, Kristen, Atrophy, hey Catherine. We're going to have to reconnect these vias here. These are the sense lines for the current sense resistor. So you have the main current going through this side of it, and then there's two little pads here, and they go off to what were pads here, and there's little vias there. So I may have to reconnect those. That should prove interesting. Let's see, what do we want? We want a TPS 62180s, I think. According to the schematic, pin 1 is bottom right. Sorry, bottom left, the other right. Hey, Paulsium. Way too much solder on those, but it is what they are. I'm just going to take this current sense resistor off and see how badly afflicted it is. Oh my goodness, that is trashed. The resistor itself, no, I think that's trashed as well. Probably should have tackled that before I put the regulator back on. That is not a pretty sight. No, we're going to have to do a fair bit of scrapage here. Hey there, Paul T. Right, let's get some assistive heat. These two caps are cactus, they've got to go. Creature, the signal through the via is definitely dead. I'm going to have to either chase that via through the board or just wire it up to the other side. At least being a current sense only, yeah, we're not going to have a lot of power across it, so it's not going to mind if I only use very fine wire, thankfully. These pads, these caps are probably just high frequency noise caps. So hopefully there shouldn't be too much drama. We'll stick them back on obviously, but I can see like this trace here, that's distinctly gone. That's all corroded mess. This one here is also a corroded mess, but the top of the via might be present still. This one here, the top of the via is just gone, gone, gone. So gone. What I will do though is I'll measure the diode mode just to confirm what's going on. It's a little bit, yeah, it should be okay. Yeah, so that's open circuit. That's open circuit. This might not be. Oh, you're open circuit too. Joy. Okay, so we'll go to the schematic. And you can, these are the points here. So we have disconnects. Let's see. So it goes to U5630 on the other side. So this here is where the resistor is, you can see there. Like when I flip it over. So what we'll probably have to do is run a wire over the top onto the respective pads. So there. Yeah. Oh well, at least it's not a massive amount of trouble. It's definitely disconnected though, creature. I can definitely see it. It probably doesn't show up in the microscope, but it's definitely disconnected. Yeah, there's no connection at all. So just do a bit of scraping back. Yeah, I can see it's disconnected between that part and that part. Although, at least I've got a full via stalk there, so I can actually... I've got one that I connect directly, and that should be fine. But the left-hand side one, that's a goner. See if I can find a ultra fine tip. Hey Mark. See if we can just do a drill down. We might get lucky. They might flare the They might flare it out. Although I often find it's really not enough. I mean, even though this is only for data recovery, you still want some stability. Tell you what, if that holds, I'll be happy. I'll get some of my Litz wire and run it down there. Yeah, I'm being an idiot here. I really need to... I basically just need to run that wire that I'm about to put on the enameled wire. I need to run it over something to get it pre-tinned, and then I should be able to just drop it in. Rather than what I'm trying to do now, which is use the board to pre-tin it. It's a bit stupid of me. Oh look, we've already got a piece of pre-tinned wire right there for us. That was from last night. See, good reason to not pick up after your mess. Here's one we made earlier. And it's actually long enough that if I do it right, I should be able to do both those traces. Alright, so it's on the via, it's on the pad. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I got some vibration picking up here. Oh, no wonder, it's sitting on the air filter. Let's see if I can get some more light into that. Unfortunately, my display does not accurately illustrate what it looks like for you guys. Nah. Needless to say, it's on. I basically just need to increase the light level. Looks pretty clear, good to hear. Okay, now I'm going to cut this a fair distance from that veer stalk. I didn't want to risk it too much. You don't actually need to follow the trace along the board, but I do it simply so that it can give you a couple of extra little spots to tack the wire down, so in the event that it snags on something, it shouldn't go too far. There we go. So that is the current sense lines done. Hush now, creature. That's my micro pencil you're talking about. It has feelings, you know. Basically what I'm doing here is clearing away as much of the flux as I can so that I can put some UV cure on top of all that and hopefully protect it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Just a couple of little dots of UV protection, it should be good. Just realised I need to grab a new bag of micro buds. Poor little micro, if he's listening in, he's like, why do you keep saying my name? Alrighty. All good in here? Yep. So these are the tiny little Q-tip type things. And they make it very easy to apply this stuff. You just stick it in there, twirl it around, and pull the brains out. Just as if you were an ancient Egyptian pulling out brains. Looking good. Now we can UV cure it. Don't blame me for that graphic description. That comes courtesy of the mummy. Rad's Guitar Garage, thank you for the Australian 20. For being a true blue top-notch bloody nerd champion player. Nerd? I'll take your 20 though. So Brad, do you do things like amplifier repairs or anything like that? Since you're in the garage music, guitar stuff? Or is this more of a just random something curious to watch? A bit like how I watch Alex Steele with his blacksmithing. Yeah, creature, that is the way it goes, isn't it? It's like, stop it, don't touch it, leave it alone, back off. Yep. So, much appreciated, Brad. Much appreciated. Especially considering you don't even have to make contributions like that in order to get heard in this channel. It's a fairly low-paced channel, unlike some others that you get, where the only way to get heard is to drop a few bob. It's up to your nuts and valves. Oh man, valves unnerve me for some reason. I don't know why. It's just the sound they make. It spooks me out. I know it sounds stupid, but they really do spook me out. That supernatural sort of wailing and drone. I don't know. It all comes from when I was a kid and my neighbour had this massive entertainment system, and he would start it up in the morning and you just hear it sort of slowly coming into tune as the valves warm up, and it's like, oh, scared me dillies. Okay, that should be cured enough. What I have been interested in doing though lately is getting a VFD clock or something like that. Not one of the Nixie not one of the individual Nixie character type tubes, but the VFD tube. Alright. That's looking pretty tolerable. Hey, Andrew Hughes. Alright, so what we've got to work out now is... We'll go back to the schematic. So, 5630. We have to find ourselves a replacement. It'd be a little bit irresponsible of me to utilize the one that's dead. So, now the 5 milliohm ones, they're a little bit like hen's teeth. And the last time I went through this rigmarole, I said to myself, go out and buy some 5 milliohm ones. And guess what I didn't do? I did not get some 5 milliohm ones. Okay. This will be my own lesson. I pretty much don't need to, actually I suppose I better put in a size. So these are 0306s, yep. Which is the same as a 603, but it's just landscape mode. Need to set up an inventory. That's why I've got this part finder. The part finder is an alternative to my inventory. Now, it's listing a 239 there, but I'm pretty sure that's a lie. I'm fairly sure on the 239 that it is a no stuff. $840, definitely going to be a no stuff on the 840s. Well, I could be wrong. I'll be happy if I'm wrong about it being a no stuff, but I'm fairly sure it is. Because you see, what happens is Apple designs these boards and they put all of the various current sensing systems on the board, at least in the initial schematic. But then, based on risk assessments or whatever, they drop them off. Okay, so 239, let's bring that in. Yeah, see, omit. There's going to be a couple of others in there, but yeah, omit, 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 omit. They're all omitted, yeah. It sucks. I have been working on the new search system, and I've now given it the facility for the inverse. So if you explicitly don't want to find, a parameter, there'll be a little checkbox over here, and you'll be able to tick it so that you don't get the hits in the wrong places. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the 840 is going to be the same, just a whole bunch of omits. Yep, omit, omit, and that's only got the two and they're both omitted. I was trying to think what other boards I might have. 928. I've got 928s. Maybe we can get lucky. No, omit. I got a cough. Son of a bitch. Almost 99% sure. I remember that one being vacant. I'm just going to go get the 928 donor board. Just to be checking that. And unfortunately, that particular physical layout of the board makes it rather... You can't really put a different size one on there. It just doesn't sit right. What have I got here? So this is where it gets dangerous. I know this is a working board, but actually no, I don't think that one's got anything on it. Okay, be right back. Alright, so we've got a 928 board here. This is a 1707 type thing. This is one that was very generously given to me by Daniel Lang. And let's see, we got quad. So according to this, it may be up by the inductor. And I see pads up there, which means it is indeed omitted. Which just is no fun at all. Yeah, let's see. Omit. They've got a great big whopping 612 there, but that's no good to us. I may have another board, to be honest. I've got a few dead ones, and I think in this instance, I think I can justify doing that. As a general rule, I do not take parts from a dead board that is a customer's board. It tends to lead towards issues that you don't want to have to deal with. Okay, it's another 928. But sometimes you're in a real situation. I'm just trying to find the one that is from an existing known supplier that I can deal with. I guess what I'm saying, from a person who I have a good working relationship with, and they understand that, you know, if you've got a dead board, you've got a dead board. Okay. Get out of here, bug. You're not even alive. You're a dead bug. You just fell from the ceiling. Fantastic. Wait, you're 1700, aren't you? Oh, dreaded 1700s. Probably the worst board in a long time that Apple have produced. Yo, that loaded up the wrong one. Oh well, doesn't matter. So 5530 is just down off the Wi-Fi chip, just here. Kind of looks so mitty to me. Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks like it's not there. It's supposed to be right there. And they didn't even have the decency to actually mark it as omit. Kind of curious. What's that? That's probably the wrong value though. 5620. Yeah, it is the correct value. Okay, well, we found one, which really is basically the same, slightly different orientation, but it's the same thing. And I will have to make sure that I order a bunch more of these, because it does seem to be a common point. I have no idea how that hair got there, other than the fact that it's in this workshop. Most of the time these are actually carpet fibers. You can tell by the way it's twisting that it's synthetic, as opposed to, say, a cat hair. Regardless, it's still very annoying. Just going to check to see what value those little puffer caps are on the side. $12 picofarad and 3 picofarad. Alright, look, I'll be honest, I'm going to leave those off. They actually have another pair of the same right next to them, so for now we're just going to leave those off. The 9580, that's the big one. That one there. That's a 10 microfarad, 25 volt, 603. There's a few of those, but I think we'll definitely put one of those back on. Let's see. Maybe I do have 10 microfarad, 603, 25 volt. I mean, it's a moderately reasonable value, but 10 microfarad, no. 12, oh, that's right. I always have them in 1206 or something like that. I think I have to pull these from either the iPhone or a 1465. 1465? What the hell? 165 board. Search, find. We have to 10 microfarad. iPhone 6 has them. There we go, 165. Yep, it is the ones that I was thinking of. Yeah, it's the ones by the memory. I just have to check every time. Yeah, it's easier to spend a couple of minutes and check than to get it wrong. Basically it's that cap there, and there's a fair few of them. But we'll take that one. Got to be careful about getting a little bit too eager to pull the chips off, the caps off. Might just, take a pad accidentally with you. Alright, so that's that section sorted out, best I can tell. We'll have a look at where else that coffee dribbled across. So fortunately the Wi-Fi there is underfilled, so that was protected. This all here looks probably like I can just wash that off. Thankfully the CPU section is intact, there's no damage there. Very easy to go from a working machine to a very dead machine if anything gets onto that section. So I'd say we give this a wash down. just particularly up here. It doesn't look like it's corroded, it's just simply present, as it were. Add Textralian. Unfortunately that's not a BGA, so nothing's getting under that. Okay, I'm not going to try and attack that off unless it just comes off on its own. But I don't want to upset that Wi-Fi chip because we may need the Wi-Fi chip one way or another. I'm not giving this the greatest of chances. I don't want to get my hopes up too high. I'm actually, would you believe it, I'm feeling a tad nervous, to be honest. Just a tad. There's not much else we can really do but plug it in and see how it goes. There you go. Okay, so we've got 20 volts. 0, 200, 300. Come on. 0, reset. Come back. Crap. Plug it into the chassis and have a look, but that is basically behaving like the NAND's cooked. That's usually how they behave. They'll bring up 20 volts momentarily and then they just shut back down and go, no thanks. There's a fair bit of liquid damage in here, but the battery seems to be okay. So I'll plug it in, give it a whirl. Yeah, the fact that it's getting 20 volts and then it just takes itself back down is not the best sort of behavior. You will get, with these boards, they will do 20 volts and then momentarily go back to zero, but then they start taking their full amperage shortly after. But this one does not. It just sits there and says, yeah, change my mind. Not coming up. Now, it may be in something like DFU mode, but it doesn't really feel like that. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not going to plug the touch bar in yet. But unfortunately, it's just a design issue that Apple has with that particular chipset that they've used. They don't have any kind of protection for the NANDs. So what basically happens is that the power comes in, the feedback gets all upset, and then instead of being 2.5 volts, it just shoots it up to whatever, depending on the feedback. We'll give it a minute to see how it goes. See if it even charges. I had hopes for it because it did sort of push up a little bit, but yeah. It's interesting that it's actually sitting at zero even. Yeah, the battery's plugged in. That's what's actually more interesting, is that the battery is plugged in and it's got 20 volts, but it's still not going anywhere. Let's see what the voltage is on those rails. .6. Can't complain about that. Yeah, Creature, you can tell Apple to do that because, yeah, it's something they tend to omit on crucial parts. So yeah, it goes 20 volts, gets up to 250, 400, 250, 400, yeah, it looks like, oh yeah, we're gonna go, but then I think it just sees the NAND is cooked. And that's the end of that. Although I will admit, it's quite bizarre that it's not trying to charge the battery. Now, it wouldn't be an ISL issue because we wouldn't get to 20 volts if we had an ISL issue, well, at least not normally. Maybe the battery is bad. Potentially, maybe. Guess we have a look at what the NAND voltage is. I have to take the board out in order to be able to do that. That's the other fun thing, is that there's multiple named regulators for the different banks. So because of that, it magnifies the statistical risk of failure, simply by the fact that, well, you've, instead of 1 point to hit us, you got 4 points to hit us. See you later, Jason. Have a good night. Yeah, 2.5. 2.5. So yeah, the regulating, it's doing the regulating properly now. But we're definitely stuck at 0. What we'll do is, because these current meters are not very fast in their reactions, we will bring out the infrared camera and see if we do have a pulsar anywhere. I would like to create a better USB current meter, but it's a project perhaps a bit beyond my time right now. But it'd be nice to have one that can capture instantaneous maximum current, as well as being able to report to the PC without using stupid protocols like Bluetooth. Because Bluetooth is evil. Mostly the biggest problem I have with Bluetooth is simply the programming stack for most operating systems is just woeful. Particularly if you're doing low BLE. We're gonna have to disagree there, creature. Drives me absolutely balmy trying to program for Bluetooth. I would like it if they had a sort of a degenerative serial mode for it or something like that. Okay, so we're plugged in and we're just gonna look to see if we get any beacons popping up. Okay, we've got something going on over here. But that is, yeah, so that's where the 200 to 400 comes up, and then it fades away and we don't see it come back. Andrew, the mat is simply a silicon cooking mat, so just get it off eBay for $2.99 or something like that. Okay, they're probably a little more expensive than that. Oh, creature, your current job's doing Bluetooth? That's a terrible job to have. You poor thing. I will give you my sympathies. Nothing's really showing up there. That's all just basically ambient noise. And nothing really showing up there. So certainly doesn't seem to be anything on this side of the board. So we're going to flip it over. It was only hot there for a second because that's where I had my fingertip. Creature, I don't have a lens to magnify. It doesn't help though that because it's got the, what do you call it? It's got the visual camera as well as the infrared. It's a little tricky to do a zoom in. I suppose you can just blank out the visual. But no, I'm not seeing anything here. Normally a heartbeat shows up moderately reasonable. Even if it's only a very small one, you can just sort of, the human eye is quite good at detecting very subtle pulses. Catherine, we actually did do the other side as well, so unfortunately it's not a go. Well, like I said, we got our 2.5 volts back, but it's just dropping out. Like I says, that's often a sign of the NAND has no valid data in it, and it just sort of, okay, looks like we missed something there. That's bad of me. I did not see that. That's not good. Okay. That's a U5400. That's an INA214. Schematics. That's this chip here. INA214. I actually do have those. So we may be lucky because that is high side current sense. So it might be the case of, the detection's bad and it's shutting down the CPU, and we may have a win here. Is coffee damage worse than water damage? Tough call, depends on the style of the water. If it's, say, very soft water, then I would say coffee is more damaging. Hard water, I would say, is more damaging than coffee. Hard water, of course, because it's got all the mineral content in it, tends to be quite conductive. What the... Those noises aren't great, but we shouldn't be... Okay, we've got... Yeah, we're just going to... This is the RAM. This is not storage, it's as in, it's not static storage, it's RAM chips. Yeah, very little often gets into this sort of area, because now I've gone and exposed it. Fortunately, they're not underfilled, so even if they do get warmed up, it's not a problem. You can see a lot of blood coming out of the board here. Going to take this off as well. Okay, it looks like for the most part that was... It didn't get a chance to corrode, but it would have messed with the values probably. Let's give that a bit of a wash down of 80-20. Unfortunately, this one won't be a 5 milliohm, or at least if it is a 5 milliohm, it's... I didn't see what it was. It's a 1 milliohm, this one. Yeah, so what do I want? INA 214. Please tell me I definitely got INA 214s. Yeah. I know I definitely got some INAs, but I don't know whether I got the right INAs. May not have yet sorted them out. Yeah, great. INA 210. So I'm going to guess that I do not have that INA, so it will have to become a donor board situation. I haven't had a chance to sort out all of my MacBook parts yet. I've done a reasonable number of them, but obviously there's a lot of MacBook parts. Yeah, Mr. Daniels does not have INA 214. That's okay. The INA 210 was one that I ordered because I didn't have many of them around, so maybe the 214 I actually will have on donor boards. Schematics. Stop searching. Yeah, it looks like the INA 214 is a very popular chip, which is probably why I didn't buy any. Now the question is, which board do I take it from? I'm waiting for 165s to come up. Always wait for the 165. Thank you, Joseph. There we go, there's the 165. I should make it that I've got a... I bet you though it's a no stuff. Are you a no stuff? Oh, you actually might be a stuffed. Yeah, well, there you are, above the 3v42 section. I am impressed. You probably still know stuff. Or, oh, you're the wrong damn package format though. Yeah, that's a SOT 6 of some sort. SC70 in this case. Whereas we want a UQFN. Damn. And that is not something you can just swap. Okay. So we want UQFN. I'll cut the numbers down. 281, 239. Okay, we should have a 230. Yeah. I've got 928 as well. We're going to come up for 928. I've got a 928 right here, willing, wanting. Hey, 555, good evening. Looks like it's going to make me get... Oh wait, there we go, yeah, that's our 928. Rightio. Just down here somewhere, but you're a no stuff, aren't you? You're a no stuff, you're a no stuff, you're a no stuff. Tell me you're a no stuff without telling me you're a no stuff. I know you're gonna, yay, you're a no stuff. God damn you, Schematic, why'd you do that to me? And naturally there's no other ones on the board. Well, 139s, 210s, lo and behold, guess who has 210s? Yeah, I don't know why they didn't say it was a no stuff though. Maybe it did and I just didn't see it. Okay, let's have a look at the 281. Probably not likely. It's the same thing. They're using that there as on the backlight circuit. And that's why they're becoming no stuffs. Oh, we've got 239, not 281. $239. Wait, yep, 239. Ooh, is that? Can it be? Nope. Once again, not there. This is starting to slightly tick me off. Okay, there's another one on the CPU around here. But once again, right there. Crap. What am I going to do? Let's see if 1700 has one. This is certainly the very frustrating part of doing this kind of work. 5450 down the bottom. That looks shock frickin' horror. What do you know? It's a no stuff too. Honestly, it's like let's see if it's got it on 5400. There should be one by the... Okay, there's one. That's one there. Wow, I actually got one. Flippin' hell. I don't have, well, I haven't really yet started to encounter chip shortage issues. My problem is really more just you can never get them in the first place, or yeah, just not having the donor boards. Okay, so pin 1's up this top right. These chips sure love to stick to the board. Joseph, yeah, that's Flex BV. Nothing much has changed. I am working on some changes currently, but not too much in terms of the visuals though. Okay, so in this instance, pin 1 again is in the same place. So we should be able to just pop that back down. Now I say just pop that down, it's not always that easy. Kind of relying on the fact that I've used leaded solder to make it a bit easier for me. What happened to the Nitro laptop which had the blown double MOSFET? That basically is a dead end. The owner of it decided it wasn't worth pursuing the risk, and I mean, I tend to agree with them. Okay, so I need a 1206 1 milliohm. Although, we can have a look at this, see if it is actually damaged. I think that's going to be quite okay, that one. The other one was a real problem because it was quite pitted underneath. This one, not so much. Savitech, your 1706 of blown CD3215. Is it a underfilled, or is it just, you know, standard? If it's standard, they're not too much trouble, but the underfilled ones can be a little bit more of a nuisance, particularly when you're trying hard not to scratch up the pads underneath, but at the same time trying hard not to cook everything around it. It's definitely one of those practice sort of things. Some people can use the hot air and twist them off. But you got to be pretty ballsy, because that could go wrong. Like so many things, it's practice, practice, practice. Nuts and Proud's got new ADSL now. You can watch 4K. Oh come on, you should be able to watch it 720 at least. $215. Okay, 20 volts. 180, 340, 190, 340, 0. Bastard. Interestingly, the current values have changed during that process, but it still shuts back down to 0. What have you got, like 2 megabit per second ADSL instead of 12? Fortunately, that bit of liquid that was there on the current sensor, it is not something that would actually damage the machine or anything like that. It's just more a case of, in most cases, it will tend to inhibit the machine from running. Keep the old chip. Yeah, they're on the edge of the bench here. The corrosion that was on there, if you ask me, it was almost like that was a pre-existing corrosion as opposed to a coffee-induced corrosion. I'm going to put it back into the chassis, see what happens, but it's fast getting to the point where we're putting too much time into it. I mean, obviously you want to try and save every machine, but sometimes, you know, the fact that there was the corrosion around the regulator for the NAND, or one of the NANDs, it was straight off the bat. It was like, well, okay, we're in a bit of a losing battle situation here already. It's actually what I ask the stores that send jobs to me. I just tell them, you know, check to see if there is corrosion, like on this area here. If there is, then realistically it's not going to be fixable in 95-98% of the time. You might get lucky occasion. I guess that's the thing, is everybody's kind of holding on to that 1 or 2% chance that it really is fixable. But that's a very, very slim chance. It does give the customer an opportunity, though, to consider their position in terms of how much is their data really worth. Because many a time say you recover a phone and people want it recovered, and then when it comes to pay the bill, they all of a sudden get this slap of realization that, you know what, those photos aren't really worth the $200 or $300 it's costing to get it recovered. and they hightail it out of here and you almost never see him again. Scum buckets. And of course you're left holding the phone, but you can't do anything with it, especially here in Queensland, Australia. And we've collapsed back down to 0 again. That's got me stumped, what it's doing there. I'm really not sure what it's trying to do. The other thing is, even if you have to get a matched set of NANDs, which are pretty rare to find for these particular boards because most of them die due to the NAND failure, and you're still not going to get your data back anyway. This is definitely pulsing periodically. I can see on the current meter it will it shows up a couple of chevrons or angle brackets greater than smaller than type thing. So yeah, periodically you see a couple of chevrons pop up, which means it's trying to transfer something and then it stops. I would expect at least something from the battery. That's the problem here. Yeah, something for charging. Yeah, let's see what PP bus resistance is. This battery is still connected. We almost tried to measure the resistance of a voltage enabled line. That's always fun. .14. What the hell? Okay, that's fine. Unfortunately, I do not have a battery for this. I'll go get my 1990 chassis and see if there's any difference. I don't know what state the battery is on it or anything like that, but at least it's an option to eliminate some factors. Won't be a second. Hey, wrong way. No. No, it's in the other room. Very handy having a test chassis for this sort of device. I do look forward to the point where I can just go out whenever a new machine comes out to market. I can just go out and buy one, strictly for the purpose of, for parts or for the test chassis, things like that. This is an extremely handy thing to have, particularly if you just sort of take the main board out and just use the chassis. And if anything goes wrong, you take it to Apple and say, hey, this doesn't work anymore. Obviously the serial numbers will not match up. In this case, the Touch ID will not match up on that on-off button. That's okay. We're not too worried about that. We'll be happy if we even get to the point where that is an issue. They will start generating new models just so all the independent repair shops buy it. Yeah. It's like, well, you better catch up. Come on and get the latest model. We produced 10 this year. Only $2,500 a piece. Come and get it. Ugh, come on, man. Just need to put the personal security device there. Do not want accidents like that happening too much. Alright. So 520 volts, 360, 0, 5 volts. That's interesting. We just dropped back to 5. We've got a fan spin. We've got a fan spin. We've got proper we are running. Oh, please, please, please. Yeah, an Apple logo. Ha! Oh yeah, that's great. Wow. Felt like my mate Vince then. Woohoo! Because it's got a boot yet. But it should do. It's probably just going through security check. That's interesting. There must be something catastrophically wrong with that chassis. Either liquid in the trackpad, the battery, or something. Anyway. Oh. Alright. Okay. Happy people faces. 100% battery on that. That's interesting. Ooh. That's a good win to have. Thank goodness for that. Wow. Yeah. I'm very, very happy with that. For reasons that I can't exactly explain to you at this point, but needless to say, having that outcome is exceptionally good news for me. Very good news for me. Yeah. Paul did a Rossmann fan spin. I do much better than Rossmann fan spins. Lewis is a has-been. The new generation is here. People like Tim Herman, Jason Vilmer, myself, I guess. Don't know where Chris Long is. He's been a slack-ass bastard. Okay. I am now going to put this aside. I'm going to leave it in that. I'm going to do a preliminary data recovery so that you have to worry about things like it gets lost in shipping or anything like that. So yeah, I have to take the copy of the data now, ship it, and then if it's successful, I wipe the data locally. Yeah. Okay, I'm even going to leave it connected like that. Thank goodness for having that chassis. Now, again, that's a good example of why it's important to have a test chassis. Okay, that's enough excitement for me, but is Wayne Taylor here? I'll go grab something that I was sent today, just to finish up. Alright, this turned up this morning. Now, as you know, I have multiple hackos and everything like that, so I don't really actually have a need for another soldering station. But it was sent to me, so I'm going to pop it open, have a look, see what it's all about. Maybe I might hand it off to someone else. Maybe I've got some local people I know who do electronics work and they could do with a good soldering iron. Or maybe I'll use it as some sort of heat bed controller unit. Maybe it has a smaller tip. Oh, yeah. Creature. Alright, so we've got a fairly exotic looking... Hey, this can loop back to itself, can't it? Is that allowed? You're allowed to plug into yourself? I think that's not really considered healthy. Remote upgrade. Oh, no. Alright, so it's one of these type of units. Cool. Certainly small. No, I just better put my TPS 6280s away. I'm still on a bit of a high after that, seeing that fan spin start up. Right, that goes straight into the bin. No use at all to me, those things. Okay, there's some pretty fine tips in there. And I see we have some instructions. Well, we ignore those. Instructions are for when you've given up, decide to hand in your badge of manhood. That's why I don't have instructions on Flexboard View. Because if you need to have instructions for Flexboard View, then you fail as a technician. That's the standard process. Well, it certainly looks nicely built. Now, why couldn't Apple put one of these on the back of their screens? A simple IEC connector. I mean, yeah, it might have protruded an absolute smidge beyond their 1-inch thickness. Would have been a hell of a lot better than that style of connector they've got now. B-Blood, well, I mean, that's why I've got 2 stations at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so it's banana plug into there. Is this just a grounding thing? Oh man, oh, we don't believe in that. Sorry. We do not believe in the church of grounding. By the way, hello Supercomputing, nice to have you here. Always nice to have interested parties popping along. Not really sure what I'm meant to do with this. It kind of feels like it should be something that, kind of like with the Hackos, you know, you've got that foam. Probably just have to shove it a little harder and it will go in. Beep. I'm gonna guess that goes into there. This feels like it needs to pop up, or is it? No, it's fine there. The tips do look pretty fine, like this one here. This actually could be good for iPhones. I will try and reserve my well, I don't know. I do like the cable retainers. I need those for other things. The plastic on here, I will admit, is a bit of the meh type of feel. Yeah, it has that bit dodgy cheap. They clip in nicely, but the actual feel of the plastic molding and the this sort of locking screw, it leaves you a little bit nonplus. Okay, I am going to see what have we got here. C210 SO20 210. I have no idea what size that is, but it's basically like a miniature JSO2. Okay, well, that feels pretty good. Pretty close to the Hacko in terms of cable feel. You wouldn't think cable feel makes a lot of difference, but it genuinely does. When you grab the unit and you're just moving around, or you're trying to change your angle of attack on your soldering joint, having a cable that is willing to go with you is very important. Okay, this is obviously some sort of tip holder, I'm guessing. Maybe. Can't read the instructions, not allowed. Okay, I'll go get a IEC cable. Here we go, got one. I will zoom in on the tips just shortly. Yes, that's right, Creature. Yeah, the distance of the tips. That's why I actually am not a fan of those T100 or whatever they are, pencil, USB pencil type units, because the tip handle distance ratio is all just, it's crazy. I don't like it one bit. Okay, I'll peel that off. Okay, power. Okay, it's detected the tip. Let's see, set. Ah. It is Anglius. Ah, press that. Does it touch? Right. Okay, so that's back. Okay, so it's, well, that's a very fast heat up, I will grant you that. It's extremely fast heat up. Okay, I'm going to get an iPhone and see if I can do some delicato work on the iPhone. Everybody likes to see delicato work on an iPhone. That's certainly not something I would probably do with a MacBook, use on a MacBook. A MacBook would be just a little bit excessive. Let's see. Let's find a board we can abuse. Where are my boards? Ah, here we go. So that's already recovered. Yeah, there's so many iPhone 4S. We got some 5s, I think. Here. Yeah, we got a. It's a 5, 5, 5, 5. Oh wait, no, they're 5S's. That's a 5. Good IP5. Yep. Too bad nobody needs them anymore. We'll fiddle around with the IP5S. Gotta go get my carrier. Hey, Rodrigo. No. Looks like somebody's been stealing the spring-loaded retainers. Can't imagine who would do that. Couldn't be me. Some little workshop devil. Okay, we're going to turn on the extractor. Yeah, so we've got plenty of 0105 parts down there. I'm trying to find something I can actually legitimately trial on this. Well, let's just have a shot. Jason Vilma levels of flux. Okay, jabby jabby. Let's get some solder. So the end point I would consider to be similar to my KN tip, the one that I do use. I am impressed that it has as much heat in that tip as it does, because that's usually the weak point of these sort of things, is they just don't have the thermal power. Just seeing how this goes. It does have a little bit of a wobble in it. It's not much, but yeah, I mean, for what this probably cost, it's an absolute bargain, really. You know, you're getting a pretty decent fine precision tip. Just trying to find something that's tricky. Ah, junk everywhere. Oh look, a classic TriStar. It's an original too. 1610A1. Miss the days when that was a real money maker. Fixing things, yeah, this just turned up this morning. I wasn't really aware of anyone sending me one. A long time ago I was looking at a NAS system, JVC, because of the nano tips. So it's interesting just to see how this goes. I should try on the Hacko the conical tip one. I guess so. Like I'm struggling a little bit to get the heat into that, but that's to be expected. 201s. Yeah, it's certainly it's useful. Now I'm just trying to work out how I'm going to. Well, it's more fancy than anything else. Just turn it off. Alright. I should make a visual comparison between the T30KN. Okay, so this is the T30KN and this is the fine tip. I'd say if you got JVC versions of these, they would be of a higher quality. But, you know, it comes down to a very similar sort of tip profile. I suspect that's going to wear out pretty quick. Still, like I said, I don't know how much this thing was, but I can see that if you're trying to get in on a budget to do phone work, then it would certainly be useful. Yeah, that actually works pretty good. Yeah, that's got better heat in it than the J-tip. The J-tip probably was losing a bit of heat off the fact that it's quite long relative to where the heating element is. Let's try to take that TriStar off and clean up the about 175 Australian. So that's pretty good. What are you fixing these days? Fixing things? Haven't heard much from you lately. Even on Twitter, unless I've been missing your tweets. But you're usually pretty good at letting everyone know. Here we go. We're using MacBook levels of power on an iPhone. Just means I have to act quicker. It's like deep frying a whole board in a vat of fat. This is, let's see, what is it? Yeah, T3B. T3B Smart Soldering Station. It definitely heats up very quickly, I'll give it that. Yeah, it's extremely fast on the heat. The Hacko is a bit of a slow poke when it comes to that. This is substantially faster. Yeah, I would say if you're doing iPhone work on a budget, yeah, getting started, then yeah, this is actually pretty good. The speed's good. The tips I think will wear out fairly quickly. They just got that appearance about them. I could be wrong about that. But I get a feeling that they're going to misshapen or wear out fairly fast. I'm not sure if genuine JVCs will actually fit on it or not. I don't know. So this is why I'm a bad person to send stuff to, because I don't have any research behind anything. I'm just shooting from the hip. Okay, if JVC tips would work, then I'd say that's probably a good compromise solution overall. Is, you know, get one of these units and then put a bit of money into a JVC tip, and yeah, at least, because that's really where it comes down to, is if you really need to have a quality tip. And everyone's going, oh, ha, ha, funny joke, yeah, whatever. God damn. It's like being grade 10 again. It does a good job of tapping down. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Do they have a tweezer handle? Good question, don't know. Never looked. Just gonna have a look at the K30N tip versus their knife tip. Yeah, okay, so their knife tip is definitely a bit monstrous compared to the K30. So that's, you can probably get away with using that on MacBooks in the way I do with this one. As long as you've got a bit of assistive heat, you should be okay. Hey, Chris Long. there. So that's the J tip compared to the KN. I'll see what it's like compared to the JST02. Not JST. JS. JST is Japanese something connector or whatever. Okay. So this is the tip that we all used to use on MacBooks until we started moving over to the T30 series. It's certainly finer, and I think where you win out on this one is that you can actually, that extra length of narrow neck lets you get into places that you simply cannot get to with this particular tip. Mind you, this is a T12, T15 tip, not a 30 tip. I only have the KN30 in my collection. I should try and buy the pencil, the straight version of this for the Hacko as well, and see how that is. So what's the proper way of getting these out? So we've got 10, 10, 45. I'm not sure what I'm looking at there. I don't want to read the instructions. That's a bad sign. If you've got to read the instructions, it's a bad sign. The first thing that comes to mind here, though, with this soldering thing, is with the way they've got it. I don't know, I guess you sort of jab it between the slits. Because if you keep going straight for the center, it already is starting to compress down there quite a bit, and you start bottoming out. I think that's probably what happened. I bottomed out, hit that tip. Well, that's pretty neat. For the price, that's pretty neat. I mean, considering my Hackos cost $380 for the station, and there's no tips with it, so it's a pretty good price. And I think what is nice is the handle balance is good. It's very similar to the Hacko micro pencil in terms of length and tip ratios. Yeah, it's a pretty good close copy. I know it's not trying to copy the Hacko, but I just mean in terms of ergonomics and things like that. So now I've got to decide what I'm going to do with this. Hook the tip into the V slot. Okay, let me just... Okay, that's a K30 there. This is... Okay, that's going to be the S1, I think. Into the what? Hook the tip in the V slot, like this. Just like that. It doesn't really... Okay. I'm guessing that... Oh, they go up this way. That feels a bit precarious if I do it like that. I feel like I'm gonna bottom out there. I think it needs to be more like that. It is good that it holds it even when there's no tip in it. That's a good thing to have. Text Australian, I'll see how things go. Like I said, it is for iPhones, particularly. I know where that curved tip will come in use, and that is if you've got iPhone 7 TriStars, and you want to, or even iPhone 6s TriStars, and you've got to get under the shield to wipe away the excess solder on the back row of pads, then having the J-type tip at that very fine size is definitely useful. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I gotta admit, I was a little bit skeptical initially because I have seen these sort of things around, I have no idea about all the fancy features that they've got there, but as it is, out of the box, it does do a pretty good job. There seems to be a lot of fanciness. You can have the graph and all sorts of stuff, but maybe it's a bit of an overkill for me, for my simpleton brain. For me, I'm more than happy if we just simply go set the temperature and that's it. But it's, I guess, because they've gone with the modern electronics, they've got lots of room to do fancy things, whereas the Hackos, God, they're stuck in the 1980s still. To be fair, I just sort of set them at one temperature and that's it. If they got to change, well, that's too bad. So 175 Australian, is that with or without shipping? But yeah, it's a nice unit. It feels solid too. Like some of the other ones that I have encountered, not myself, but with some other people I know have got them. I've tried. I haven't been overly happy with how they felt, but this one actually does feel like it's got a chance of lasting a reasonably good time. I think if AVE got a hold of this plastic, there's something about this plastic that makes me feel like it might misbehave. You can't pull this apart by the looks of it. It's got a... Maybe you can. But still, replacement handles are probably $2 compared to $100 and something for the Hacko. Sorry. Chris apparently does work with the JBC tip, so I think if you're going to meet halfway on the budget, then I'd say, yeah, try one of these and put a JBC tips on it, because at least the tips are going to be consistently good. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm meant to be doing this. I gotta admit, I actually don't really need the foam on it. I'm pretty happy with it just as it is. But I suspect that's what, if you want the ergonomic feel, you can do that. Replacement handles are $30. Okay, that's pretty cheap still. Yeah, like I said, the Hacko, you go get yourself a FM, what are they, 3023 handles, are they? Yeah, FM 2032 handles. Yeah, these things are expensive as hell, considering what they are. You are not paying for the materials there. You are definitely paying for the brand name, and it's not even a top-end brand name, but you pay $120. So you basically get one of these or four of those, your choice. And then of course the tips for those things are $70 Australian, so pretty pricey. You must slide it on with the plastic sheet under it and then take the sheet out. Oh, okay. Alright then. Well, like I said, honestly, I prefer the hard feel rather than the spongy feel. So that plays in my favour. Alright then, well, it's approaching 1 o'clock, so I am going to go to sleep. I'm very happy that we got that machine fixed. I was worried there for a second, but it was excellent to see that the chassis was the final fault. I suspect that the current sense area may not have actually been playing up that much. I mean, it would have eventually, because there was a bit of blood there when we removed the parts. But that person really needs to go out and buy a lottery ticket, though, to be honest. They basically did get their winnings by the fact that the machine still boots. Okay, I'm out of here. I appreciate you all being here, and thank you very much. I'm pretty sure it was Wayne Taylor, or was it Warren Stamps? I always forget which one it is. But thank you for that, and I'll see if I can put it to good use, and if I cannot, I will find someone who deserves to have it put to good use for him. Alright, until next time, I guess maybe tomorrow, I'll see you all. Until then, take care.